both of them and ask you to join me in welcoming them to the club. First, welcome Jeff and Brooke. Jeff started with First Tee St. Johns County in December of '09 as lead golf instructor. He was named executive director of First Tee North Florida in July 2016. He's had several roles in the First Tee network, including program director, executive director, director of programming for North Florida, recognized coach and program director in the First Tee network. And then prior to joining First Tee, he was senior director for the YMCA Florida's First Coast. And he holds degrees in business administration and sports management from Flagler. And Brooke Smith is a sports fanatic. She's been that way from a young age. She's played softball for 15 years. She attended the Florida Institute of Technology on a softball scholarship, graduated with a degree in sports management. After interviewing with the First Tee of North Florida, she quickly discovered her passion for golf and changing the lives of children in this community. She's been in that role now for a number of years. She believes in the 9 core values of First Tee. It teaches which are crucial for a young person's character development. And she adds that First Tee has made a huge impact on her life, and her hope is to do everything she can to give back and impact, influence, and inspire the youth of North Florida. So with that introduction, please give a warm welcome to Jeff Willoughby and Brooke Smith.
Hey guys, thank y'all for having us. Obviously, for the virtual, I know the past year it's been the norm instead of in-person meetings. But I must say, Dane's committee report was very brief, and we love those. I wish a lot of my board meetings would go like that. Tim, thanks for the introduction. We'll go ahead and share our screen real quick and come up with the presentation.
We're an easygoing group, so no pressure.
That's what we like. All right, can you guys see it? Oh, well, it started from the wrong side. All right, can everybody see okay? Okay, perfect. All right.
We're gonna do a little icebreaker, and just kind of as we lead into not only finishing February, even though we just started, but leading into March, we have a little tournament in our area that a lot of you have probably heard of with the players. One thing you will see occasionally from time to time when you watch golf tournaments is First Tee commercials. This one has been out for about a month, but also with thanks to First Coast, Action News Jax. You'll see it on CBS and Fox, but our local edition of the following commercial.
For over 2 decades, First Tee has created experiences that build character. We believe every kid deserves to feel supported, safe to try something new, and to be prepared for what comes next. We develop their swing, but more importantly, their inner strength. Because we know what's inside doesn't just count, it changes the game. Come join us at First Tee.
There's that. So something that a couple of you might notice if you know anything about the First Tee or have followed us for any number of years is it looks a little bit different. We did get a completely new branding this past year. So if it looks a little bit different to you, that is why. New colors, new fonts, all the fun stuff, new logo. So far we're loving it. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know it looks a little bit different. So we'll jump right in. So our mission statement is to impact the youth of North Florida by providing educational programs that build character, instill life-enhancing values, and promote healthy choices through the game of golf. And our vision statement is our vision is a North Florida community where all children are introduced to the values necessary, wise choices when confronted with life's challenges, and have the necessary skills to live successful lives. As you guys heard in my bio, the 9 core values is something that we strive towards every single day. Some of those values, just so you guys know, are perseverance, integrity, sportsmanship, respect, responsibility. So really good things that we're teaching here at the First Tee.
And you'll see kind of, Tim mentioned in my bio, I started with First Tee of St. Johns County. But just a little brief history of First Tee overall. It started back in 1997. There are some misconceptions that a lot of people think that the First Tee was started by Tiger Woods. It was not. It was actually founded by 5 core partners. So the LPGA, the Masters Tournament, PGA of America, the PGA Tour, and then also the USGA, kind of the major golf entities of the United States. And they also had a corporate partner which supplied a decent amount of money to start with the seeding of the First Tee in the Shell Oil Company. Here locally, there was a lot of things that began as far back as 1999, but actual first programming happened in the year of 2001, both for Jacksonville and St. Johns County.
On Vice President Pence, who was at that very
Fast
moment
forward
fighting
to
his family as armed extremists were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence."
there we go. Fast forward, we worked together very closely for St. Johns County and for Duval County with the First Tee of Jacksonville out of Brentwood. Up until about 2010, we were working independently. And then 2010, we really started talks. How can we start working more together in partnership and collaboration, as well as even looking to possibly merge. So 2013, the boards came together and finalized the merger. And at that point, we became First Tee in North Florida. In addition to Duval and St. Johns County, we also added Nassau County, Clay, Flagler, Putnam, and Volusia counties. So while we call ourselves North Florida, we do have a pretty large service area in the Northeast Florida, and there is room for growth, possibly over to other counties like Baker, Columbia, and beyond. As far as on a worldwide basis, the First Tee is an international organization. So we have First Tees everywhere from Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand. Unfortunately, one of my favorites in Ireland shut down its doors a couple years ago, but they are looking at coming back. And then also we've just started adding a couple in South America as well. And then in addition to that, we are in every single state in the area with at least one chapter in each state. As far as how we reach kids, we reach a lot of kids. And I would normally ask this as a question for you guys, but I'll kind of give it as a statement. And I am going to skip over 2020. We're still getting our numbers coming in from 2020 from schools and such. But in 2019, we reached a total of 155,000 kids in North Florida. And I did say that correctly, in North Florida, in those 7 counties. The main avenues that we really reach the kids through, our largest program is our national school program. We'll go in and work with elementary schools and train their PE instructor to deliver our program on site during school hours. Those schools then partner with us and we help provide supplemental program where our coaches will come in and work with those PE teachers as well. Last year, or in 2019, we reached a little bit over 160 total schools, which equated to just under 100,000 children. The other program that's very similar to the national school program, one that I kind of hold near and dear just because, as Tim mentioned, I used to work for the YMCA, as we go and we work with other youth serving organizations. So whether it's YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, community and schools, any of those other youth serving organizations that work with children, will go in and train their staff to deliver our program as well. That one's a little bit more of a hybrid because a lot of those organizations do have means of transportation. And we can actually get the kids out to golf courses at some point in time as well. That program worked with a little bit over 40 or in the upper 40,000 number of children in the North Florida area. And then kind of our bread and butter, the thing that we're best at, and also where the outcome is the best, is our golf and life skills program that's delivered on the course. So currently we work with about 20 different program locations, or we call them golf courses, that help provide programs to children. It's more voluntary, so either they sign up, their parents sign up, their guardians. There is a small cost to it, but also we offer financial assistance to anybody that cannot afford the program. For those of you, if you've ever had a individual golf lesson with either an assistant or a PGA or LPGA professional, the typical rate, you're looking at somewhere between $50 and $100 for an hour. Ours is around $50 for about 5 weeks of programming. So they're getting way more than 1 hour during that 5 weeks. So the cost substantial is not substantial to the families. In addition to those 3 programs, the life skills classes are, like I said, the bread and butter of what we do and really have the outcome. We also offer a couple different local opportunities and national opportunities. Brooke's going to go over our girls golf program and our summer camp because that's what she's or holds near and dear to her heart. I'll kind of talk about some of the other ones. So we do have a tournament series. It is actually named after a local area golf professional that passed away a couple years ago named Calvin Pete. Calvin was near and dear to the first tee of Jacksonville. And that tournament series is named after him, but the children play about 20 tournaments a year at local golf courses. If any of you have ever played in golf, you know that tournament golf can be hard. The main focus on the tournament side, though, is we really look at tournament scoring, pace of play, and also rules for the kids that we really work with. It's not as much of a competitive series as some kids play in and other things, but it's a stepping stone to competitive series. And then all of you, for those of you that are parents, the 4th thing that we work on in the tournament series is actually spectator rules and guidelines, because we've had some parents that have actually got their kids disqualified from other tournaments because they didn't know the rules. Our STEM Links program obviously works a lot more with technology and kind of the physics of golf. And then we also have local opportunities such as the ability to go to the players and have different pros talk to the kids, to our Rising Leader Academy. That's a summer camp opportunity. And then we also have national opportunities that the children fill out applications for and are selected by our national office. Typically on an average year, we have 7 to 9 opportunities. Kind of the top one, if you ask the kids, and this is different if you ask kids or coaches, but the kids' favorite opportunity is our first tee open out at Pebble Beach. So if anybody has ever heard of Pebble Beach, obviously that's a great place to go out and play. The kids get to go out there and play with different Champions Tour players every September. So that's a pretty cool opportunity. And then finally, one thing that we really work hard on and we've added into the program over the last couple of years is our scholarship program. We give away multiple scholarships every year. The top one that we give is our Carl Estes scholarship, and we award that to 3 children annually, and it's a $20,000 scholarship, payable $5,000 per year for 4 years. In addition to that, we do also give scholarships to area professionals that are trying to get their PGA and LPGA cards to be the head pros at local golf courses. So we actually help with those assistants at different clubs that support us. Now I'll flip it over to Brooke for summer camp and girls golf.
Yeah. So fun fact, when I did start with the program 6 years ago, I started as a summer camp coach, and that's really kind of what started my passion for golf, was getting to work one-on-one with the kids. So that's really where I kind of fell in love with the sport and the program. So our summer camp we offer at 3 of our locations. They're week-long camps, and you can have any kids ages the 5 to 17, but we have half day and full day camps depending on age. So that's something that's really fun, that if the kid's really loving the program, that's something they can do where they can, go for a full week at a time rather than just the 1 week classes. As far as girls golf goes, so LPGA USGA girls golf was formed by the LPGA with a goal in mind of, I'm sure any of you that have watched golf, it is an extremely male dominant sport. And I know it can be very intimidating for girls, especially young girls, to go out and be the only female on a course sometimes, or be the only female in their on their high school team, because there isn't even a girls golf team. So that program was really started to give girls the confidence that they need and the skills that they need to feel in a safe environment and feel that they're confident in anything that they try to accomplish. So we offer 2 different all girls classes through our program. But then Linda, our outreach coordinator, she runs the program now, and she'll do fun, like one-off events. So they do not necessarily just golf stuff. Like they'll have a day where they go see a movie together. So it's really just trying to build a network of girls that feel confident and feel comfortable around each other. And it's really, really fun and awesome. And it's been awesome to see that program grow. And a lot of the LPGA USGA programs, it's kind of its own separate entity. They have those all over the country as well.
And also, and I'll give a little fun fact. When I started 11 years ago, our girl participation ratio was under 10%. And through the girls golf program, and also just dedicated, programs towards the girls, we're over 40% now. So fast forward, and we're getting closer to that equality for the girls.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, especially being a female. It makes me very happy. All right. So a couple other things that our program does that we're extremely proud of is our graduation rates. So if you, and currently in Duval County, the graduation rate is 86.5% from high school. Jeff mentioned a lot about our first tee, the life skills experience, the core classes that we offer. If a child stays in that program for 3 years, our graduation rate from high school is 100%. So that is something that we are extremely proud of, and like to tell everybody that we can, because it's a really awesome fact. The like I told you, the 9 core values that we're teaching, we're not teaching them for no reason. There's obviously they're doing something and they're changing kids' lives. Also, just golf being a sport, it helps with obesity in children. It's getting them out, getting them active, away, especially in today's world. Kids are attached to cell phones, iPads, computers, movies, everything like that. So this is one way that kids are having fun. They're playing outside, and it's helping with that. Also, same thing with the crime rate and the community. Getting kids, again, outside of the house, doing something different, extracurricular activities. We really believe that they can focus on something and they believe in themselves and are having fun doing something, then it's probably going to deter them from keeping their mind elsewhere and getting into not so great things. And then obviously developing future leaders in our community. I mean, I hear some of our kids speak that have been through the program, and I'll give you one example. One of the girls that was in my summer camp 6 years ago is now studying to be a doctor at the University of Florida, and she continues to blow me away every single day. And the things that she's accomplished in her lifetime, and the passion that she has for giving back to the community that helped raise her to become who she is today is just absolutely incredible. So it's really, really awesome to see people that your children that are going through the program and where they're at in their life today, and showing that they're giving back because they feel that First Tee has given so much to their life. So yeah. So now on to some fun stuff. So ways that you can get involved. Several different ways that we have for people that are interested in the First Tee to help out. First thing is, if you have grandkids, kids, friends that have kids that would be interested in learning more about the life skills and golf, register them in the program. We're happy to take any kind of questions that you guys have about that. Help get registered. Like Jeff mentioned, we have week-long classes, we have summer camps, we have tournament series, all kinds of fun stuff for the kids, and then the girls specific classes too. Volunteer. So we need are always looking for coach volunteers. So if golf is something that's near and dear to your heart and you also love mentoring children, like First Tee is the place for you. We have, like I said, 20 different locations. So I'm sure that there's somewhere probably near to your home that if you wanted to come and be a coach with us, definitely just let us know and we'll get you hooked up in the right spot. Also, I run several different, we have a lot of different like special events throughout the year. So we have a Taste of Golf event. We have several tournaments that we run at courses around town, one being Timaquana, Deerwood, Palencia. And then we have several one-off events, usually at the Players. We have over 180 volunteers that we have at the Players Championship at the 17th Challenge Hole. So anything like that, if you're interested in helping out with special events, we're always looking for people to help with those things. And then finally, just donate. If you feel that, you know, we always say time, talent, or treasure. So if any of those things appeal to you, a really fun, I think, mindless way to make a difference. We have a new system that allows us to do something that's called Roundup. Essentially what that is I'm sure you guys have probably heard, like you go to a Publix or a Firehouse and they're like, would you like to round up to the next dollar for whatever charity? So there's a system that we have that you basically sign up, you can link your bank account, and every time, and you can set limits to it also. Every time you go to a store and you spend money, it rounds up your change to the nearest dollar, and that change is immediately donated to the First Tee. So at the end of every month, your change from your charges throughout the month gets donated back to the First Tee. I know Jeff does it personally, and I think it's something that's really cool that you can just do, and it's might feel small, but at the end of the year can make a huge impact. So with that, I'll hand it back to Jeff.
So a couple months ago, I guess, when Mary Pat approached us, we met with Tim and Ike as well. We were really going over ideas of how we could possibly, work and collaborate with the West Jax Rotary, and particularly with possibly something that you guys are having going on at Timaquana, and what special projects we had that were coming up. This one is actually fairly new, so it is not external yet to the mass markets. So this is a special treat for you guys. But we are actually working with the ex-commissioner of golf, so Tim Fincham. Tim still lives here in Colorado, so he holds North Florida as a dear place in his heart, and also loves the Brentwood facility that we have. If any of you have been to Brentwood, it's a 9-hole course off Gulf Fair Boulevard. It's been around since 2001. It's reached thousands of kids over the years. The facility that is there, though, is kind of getting to the end of its season, we'll say, and needing potential repairs in the long run. But Commissioner Fincham came up with the idea of possibly trying to do some capital campaign to build a new facility out at Brentwood. And this could be the potential project that we really turn, and that you guys might help support and raise a little bit of money towards the massive project. This picture right here is a drawing of a facility that was just done up in Pittsburgh, one of our First Tee sister chapters up there. This one was dedicated as the Arnold Palmer facility, Mr. Palmer's name. But I'll go through some real quick slides and kind of talk about the similarities that we have with these facilities. But it's kind of like a reverse L-shaped structure. And the basis of the Brentwood facility would be that it would not only house the pro shop for the Brentwood golf course, that would also house a learning center for the First Tee. And then also we've been in talks with Edward Waters as far as them potentially having a team room there for their women and men's golf teams. If you follow Edward Waters at all, they're bringing back both of their golf teams in the next couple of years, as they had gone away for a number of years. And also they're moving up the ranks in the NCAA divisions as well. But this is a basic structure, something similar outside. If anybody's ever been to Top Golf, that's one unique thing that a lot of facilities are kind of moving towards, is that when you're hitting out to the back of the range, that you have covered hitting bays. So it allows you to still hit under inclement weather. And also too, possibly of a lighted facility, which in the Brentwood area, having that, the lighted facility gives a little bit more accessibility, and also is a little bit safer in the neighborhood as well for the children and other families to come out at any point in time. Just a little inside rendering of their space up there. So indoor facility as well, where there's putting greens and indoor simulators, as well as classrooms. This is just real quick floor plans. They actually are lucky enough to have a basement, being up in Pittsburgh, something that unfortunately we won't be able to have here in Florida. But the 2-story facility would be very similar to this, where there's a large classroom space, some open areas, offices, patios, and then going up to the top level where there's more offices and other activity centers that could house even possibly a Rotary meeting down the long term. But that's kind of the view of the future of where we're going, and one of our major projects that is on the agenda for 2021 and beyond. And other than that, we'll turn it over to any questions, or Mary Pat, if you want to intervene, you can at any point.
Thank you for your presentation. I would definitely like to open it up for questions. This is a little introduction to the club of what the First Tee is all about and the exciting things that are happening out at Brentwood. We have a lot of golfers in our community, and we're always looking for ways to help, especially with children's programming. So this is kind of an introduction to the club of what's happening out there, and food for thought of how we can possibly work with y'all in the future. Are you able to talk any more about the connection with the city and the redevelopment of that park and the
And for those of you that don't know, so Brentwood is a city-owned asset. So the city of Jacksonville owns the golf course. They actually leased it or gave it to us to manage for a number of years, dating back to 2001 when First Tee Jacksonville was there. Recently, back in 2017, we actually gave the course back to the city as far as managing. There's certain things that you do really good, and there's certain things that you try and do good. And we tried to run a golf course, but we're way better working with kids. So they actually gave the management of the facility over to, at the time, Billy Casper Golf, who manages their other golf courses that the city owns. And at that point, it was a win. We call it a win-win-win. It was a win for the city of Jacksonville. It was a win for First Tee. And it was also a win for all the families of the First Tee. Given that the Billy Casper, corporation, they said, we want this to remain a First Tee facility. So we used to impact around 300 children at Brentwood, active kids out there, and now we're well over 500 kids a year. So if anything, we were able to impact more kids by us not running the facility. So kind of some of the collaborations that are going on. There is a community center that is right next door to Brentwood. They're getting ready to put in a little bit of money to create a sports park and kind of add access to that. So our hope is that, a lot of communities put up barriers, whether it's fences or any other form of a barrier. We're hoping to actually tear down our fences at the community site, and that it's a little bit bigger than just a golf course or just a rec center. And that it's really a center that the kids can come to and have fun and engage in a life-changing activity, whether it's golf or another sport. The partnership with Edward Waters, obviously, not only are we giving them the ability to come out and practice at a location that's less than 2 miles from them, but we're also adding mentors to our young kids. Any kid that wants to go off, to a college or university, they're literally going to have people right there in front of them that they can always ask questions to, and actually see their work ethic put in every single day. As far as other partnerships, we're really working potentially with some big donors. One, you may know, they used to own the Jaguars, but the Weavers. They are on the table to potentially give towards this project. Another one that's kind of newer to the table, a couple miles north of Brentwood. You may even get packages from them from time to time, but Amazon has a warehouse facility up by the airport. They really like to do exactly as Rotarians do and give back to the community. Especially the community that they live in and they live and work in. So Amazon is also on the potential partner list for building this project. We are looking somewhere of a price tag of $4 to $5 million. And that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5 to 3.5 for a building. And then the rest would go towards a operating reserve fund, just to make sure that that building is up and standing and operational for many years to come. At the end of the day, it's all about the kids and the programming and giving them access to things that unfortunately a lot of children don't have access to, especially in the golf world. Just as much as we can drop down those barriers, it's going to change the lives of a lot of kids.
Jeff, we have a member, Mike Crumpler, who is very involved, a longtime volunteer with the players, and he's asking if you could speak about the participation of the players with First Tee.
Yeah, so players and First Tee really go hand in hand. One thing that it kind of went under the radar for a little bit, kind of through the COVID pandemic, but the First Tee national organization used to be under the World Golf Organization or World Golf Foundation. And since end of 2019, beginning of 2020, we actually moved underneath the PGA Tour. And now the First Tee is a nonprofit directly underneath the tour. One of the great things about the tour is obviously all their tournaments give back to their communities. And we're talking not just millions of dollars, but potentially billions of dollars when you look at the reach that the tour has. Here locally, the Players has been a longstanding supporter of First Tee since our inception back in 2001. Annually, we are in the neighborhood of $275,000 that the Players Championship gives to First Tee on an annual basis. And that is strictly monetary. I can't tell you how much more they provide and non-monetary support as well. We just had a great day, open house day up at Brentwood on Martin Luther King Day. And the Players was there to support it. And we also supported them as we launched the 50-day countdown for the Players. So obviously a huge partnership in the community, and we're proud to be one of the charities that they support. Mike, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Jeff. I think Tim Johnson is up next. Tim had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, President Mary Pat. Brooke, you and Jeff did a great job. You can just feel your enthusiasm for these children, and it's really contagious. I wanted to ask about, how you equip and outfit these kids, particularly, as their skill levels increase and as they grow and mature. They look great in your presentation. So it's an expensive sport. How do you keep them looking good, and how do you get them the equipment that they need to play?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple different ways. Something I didn't mention in the donation part, we're always accepting donations of clothes, shoes, clubs, balls, even used golf balls. People will buy them. So that's one way that usually a family, if they know that, hey, I have a daughter who's a size small shirt, do you guys have anything in your office? And parents will literally just stop by our office, and we have a closet full of donated clothing, and they'll go shopping. As I'm gonna say, we also do pop-up shops. If we get, there's times where we'll do we do club drives at different courses. So if any of you guys are affiliated with a specific golf course that you think has a lot of members who might be interested in doing a spring cleaning or something like that, we'll set up a day where we say, hey, we're gonna send out this flyer to the community and ask for all those things I just said, clubs, shoes, balls, whatever it is. And members from that club can drop off whatever they need, and we'll come and pick it up at the end of the weekend. So that is one way that we outfit our kids. We do have all of our programming locations have clubs there. So kids do not need clubs to be a part of our organization. All of our programming sites have those. We even have just recently something really cool happened. I told you we do affiliate tournaments where we go to different clubs and play in have big tournaments where that's a lot of our fundraising comes from those tournaments. Something cool that we do is if you sign up for those tournaments, we have a first tee kid play with every foursome in the tournament. So we just recently had one, and there's a gentleman that played and saw one of our girls in the tournament playing and noticed she had clubs, but they weren't the nicest clubs. And he said, hey, you know what? Like, I want to give back. I want to buy a set of clubs for this young lady. How can I do that? So that's another way that's like, and that, I mean, that's so incredible. You know, he's like, I'm happy to do it anonymously. But it happened to work out. It was right around Christmas. He ended up buying a brand new set of clubs for her and her sister. It was a huge surprise for the family and a very sweet thing. So those are a couple of different ways that the kids get clubs. But like I said, to join the program, you don't have to have clubs. We have all of that at the locations, but parents can come and buy clubs through donations that we receive, or they can just come to our office and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, or call us and tell us what they're looking for. And we keep an eye out. And as soon as we get one in stock, we call them and say, we have this for you, come pick it up, completely free.
And Tim, I know one of the big things, because I'm always a component as far as teaching kids, you know, respect and responsibility are two of our core values. You know, obviously a set of golf clubs, the child learns how to be responsible for something that's an asset. They may not know how expensive they are, you know, but when we hand over a set of clubs to a young person, we both ask that they take care of them and, you know, obviously clean them after they use them. But more importantly, when they outgrow them, that they be respectful and return them to the organization so they can go back out to another kid that can use them. You know, so it's kind of I'll say in essence, we recycle, and we do a lot of recycling. Actually, I don't know. There's probably a lot that have been playing golf for a very long time. You know, it's hard to go out and give a 1980s, you know, blade to a child and expect them to hit. So one thing that we do also do is we work with the environment and we recycle old metals because that obviously brings money back into the program as well. But that's one of the ways that it's kind of that 360 approach, you know, to making sure that the kids understand where it's coming from, but B, also learn and grow from it.
Also, another thing, what Jeff mentioned, when a kid signs up for a program, they have to have what's called a junior membership. It covers them for the whole year. So with that junior membership, it's $55 to pay for that to be able to sign up for classes. But with that junior membership, they get a first tee polo. So every kid in our program has a logoed polo. So when they go to the golf course, they can look their best. So that's always fun to see all of our kids out in their bright colors and first tee logos everywhere.
It's a matter of pride as well for the children.
Yes.
Brooke, this is totally off the cuff here, but you know, we had in our first meeting, we had talked about a way that our club could help, and you mentioned your event at Timuquana. Could you talk a little bit about that? This is completely off the cuff, folks, but maybe we don't need to recreate the wheel if you're already doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. So that we call those affiliate tournaments. Like I mentioned, we have one at Timuquana, Deerwood. We actually have 7 affiliate tournaments this year. So essentially what those are is we set prices based off of what the club gives us for people to come and play, and it's getting people in the community to come play. So the cool thing is, like at Timuquana, obviously that's a private club, but they open it up to allow us to bring in whoever on that day. So if you want to sign up, anybody in the public can play in this tournament. So essentially it's raising funds for us, but it's just getting foursomes. Last year we had, I think, 28 foursomes that played in the tournament. It's a 1-day event, just a normal golf tournament. We have raffles on course, stuff like that. But we always have volunteers that we're needing for those people to sit on the holes, give out raffle tickets. There's usually a lunch afterwards where you bring in a couple kids to speak to everybody, just to reiterate the mission of the first tee. And that's, again, one of those tournaments where the kids will come and play in the group. So does that answer your question?
It does. And what time of year is this?
So July 19th is this year's tournament.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. We can, I had to leave the call for a meeting, but we'll definitely follow up with our planning committee to see if maybe that might make the most sense, is for our club to help for that. Did we have other questions from anybody? If you do, speak up.
Mayor Pat, it's Michael Corrigan. Jeff and Brooke, I just want to thank you for being here today. My family is a beneficiary of the first tee. When my son was about 6, which was around 2003, his grandfather started taking him out to first tee to learn life skills in golf. And unfortunately, they taught him too well because he beats me on a regular basis now. But the Brentwood facility, if members, if you haven't never been there, if you're a golfer and never been there, go out there. It's a really good practice facility, and the part that'll impact you much more than the facilities to practice in is the watching a young man or young woman grab a club for the first time and watch how the volunteers out there really take care of them and teach them. You know, my son didn't know a soul out there, and some 20 years later, he recognizes the man that helped teach him play golf that's out there occasionally when he goes out there. So it's a nice 9-hole track, but it's really a great practice facility. And if you're not supportive of helping out first tee before you go there, after you see young men and women learning to play a game that many of us love, you'll definitely want to be jumping on this and helping out. So I really appreciate y'all being here today and talking about it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I would be willing to bet it was probably Coach Young.
If I could, can I throw in my 2 cents? The history of Brentwood goes way, way back, but in the late 50s, the Robert E. Lee High School golf team used to play a lot of tournaments out there. And I was dragging along as the 5th or 6th guy on the team, but we played a lot of them out there, and it was in pretty good shape way back then. It was still city managed. I think Jimmy Kelly and his lead golf team a couple years later probably played out there too. But it's got a long history. It's a shame they're down to only 9 holes now, but management, maintaining it all was probably a real chore. That's it.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Michael. Those both weren't plants, by the way. This was off the cuff here. It was fortuitous. It looked like Drew, did you have a question, Drew? You just muted yourself.
Sorry about that. My sign says mute. I just think it's a great idea for us to maybe consider getting involved with it to help support this. I think it's a beautiful idea for the young people in this city who don't have opportunities like many others.
Thank you, Drew. I think if we don't have any other questions, we can wrap up the meeting. I did want to mention that next week for our in-person meeting, please RSVP. And I want everybody to be aware that Tim Johnson has been working with a mentoring group of our Rotaractors, and we'll have several of our Rotaractors as guests next week. So they'll take a moment to talk about their experience. And so they'll be joining us for our meeting. And I encourage all of you to be there, and please welcome the students. I also wanted to welcome back Doug Benefield. He's with us today. Hi! Caught you off guard, but welcome back to the club. And thank you so much, Brooke and Jeff, for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And with that, I would like to ask Michael to lead us in the 4-way test.
Sure, Mayor Pat, be happy to. And it's kind of fitting we end with this when we're talking about life skills that young men and women have. So members, please join me in reciting the 4-way test. Number 1, is it the truth?
The truth.
Number 2, is it fair to all concerned?
Is it all concerned?
Number 3,
will it build goodwill
and better
Goodwill and better
friendships?
friendships.
And number 4, will it be beneficial
Will it be
to all
beneficial to
concerned?
all concerned?
Thank you, Michael, and thank you all for being with us today.
Hi, guys.
Patty.